People of the internet, how do? I am the African guy. This is Total Cult Zone presents another scary movie. That's right, another scary movie. There's quite a few horrors about at the moment. Must be something to do with the season. As always for horror movies, I'm joined by Captain J. He'll be here in a second, but first, the star of today's show is with me in the studio. Say hello. And to get that joke that's in very poor taste, you'll have to listen to the rest of the show. Can I get away with that?
Hey there, Mr. Sai. How's it going today?
My name is Lucy Hill. I hope you don't mind. I don't have an appointment, but I came a long way, and I need some new headshots for my portfolio.
Your tomb is beautiful. I said your home is beautiful.
Wow. Are you the photographer? What the are you doing?
Look at me.
So he's back again. It's a premier Scream Master General. The man who has completed horror, Captain J. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you on this overcast morning. Or evening, or whenever you decide to put this out.
Oh, it's a bit an evening. It's an evening show.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's morning somewhere, isn't it?
So seen any good horrors lately? Or are you completely off Twitter now?
Horror-wise, yeah, I've been watching some stuff. They added some new stuff on Shudder, so I've watched all of those, pretty much. And for fun, we watched Scanner Cop, because why the fuck not?
I think you cut out there completely.
I'll go good.
Can I do the joke again?
Everything I said was very clever and funny.
Let's leave it there, shall we? I'm not going to go back on that.
Yeah,
you saw Scanner Cop.
Important enough. Yes, no, that's all I said. I did stop there. I didn't cut out. I just stopped so you could appreciate the greatness of the moment. Yeah, I watched Scanner Cop.
Scanner Cop. Cool. What's it about? A Scanner Cop?
Have you seen Scanner? Or Scanners, I should say.
I've seen the first 5 minutes. That's all you need to.
Yeah, well, it's that, because it is that. But, right, if I tell you the title, this movie's called Scanner Cop, what do you think it's about?
A cop who's really good at finding people like a scanner.
You'd think so, right? No. He's just a cop who is a scanner.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, Big Dick Detective or something. Like, the clue is in the name. He is a cop who can scan. So he does. And that's it. It's basically scanners, but in a uniform.
Oh, okay. How many heads explode?
One at the end.
So they left it to the ends rather than top loading it.
Yeah, they do a load where like their veins pulse a lot from blood pressure caused by scanning or something, and there is a lot of staring into the camera doing the shaky face thing like a baby that's about to shit to indicate that he is indeed scanning.
Oh, okay. It'd be better if it was like a cat taking a shit, which just looks at you with some sort of mild anger, disappointment, and revulsion.
Yeah, like, why are you staring at me while this is happening? No, he just does the shaky baby poo thing, but a lot, and looks like he does look like a baby taking a shit as well. So it's quite funny.
Oh, that's
it's not a film to be taken seriously, and it's not a Cronenberg. It's someone else directing it, but it was stupidly fun, very 90s.
Nice. So I was thinking, as today's film features a mute lead character, I was going to ask you what your favourite film was that featured a disabled character.
Hush.
Nice.
There's absolutely no hesitation there because that movie is fucking tremendous.
Enough for Don't Breathe?
Don't Breathe is very good for different reasons. But then they made a second one, which is also good.
But he didn't need one.
When you know what happened in the first one, it's tricky to kind of get behind him.
Yeah, there's the whole thing of like it plays for sympathy, and you're on his side, and then the twist happens, and you're like, don't know where I lie on this one.
No, and the other thing that put me off of Don't Breathe a bit is that I've been watching a lot of Shudder's 101 compilations, like the best frights in horror movies or whatever. So there's lots of talky head stuff with various directors and actors, and they get the director of Don't Breathe in quite a few segments, and he is the most overbearingly pretentious, arrogant prick I've ever seen. So I find it quite difficult to enjoy his movies now because he's just so like he knows better than anyone, including George Romero, how to make horror apparently. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, you're a dick. I'm sure he's lovely and he's just fucking hamming it up for the cameras, but he really comes across as a huge bellend, and it really put me off of Don't Breathe as a result.
Never meet your heroes.
No. Although the old guy from Don't Breathe is brilliant in pretty much everything I've seen him in, and he's been in quite a few things.
Okay, mine gonna go with the OG Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Franklin.
Fair.
Yeah,
Fair. Classic.
Don't think his disability actually plays into the plot at all. The only one killed by the chainsaw, though.
That's true. I should point out with Hush, it is a Mike Flanagan movie, and the premise is that the main actress is deaf, and it's a home invasion film. So lots of fun with that premise, basically. And Mike Flanagan's really, really good, generally.
Yeah. Is there any lengthy monologues in it? He does like a monologue.
He does, but he can't really have one because she's a deaf mute. So it's almost like a silent film, which is what I quite like about it.
I'll have to get that one on the list. Okay. Other films, Freaks. Quite controversial.
Not seen Freaks.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of the few I haven't. I've heard it's popped up a lot recently in my sort of brain. People have mentioned it, and I haven't seen it yet. I'm trying to get hold of it at the moment, so I will watch it. But I just haven't.
Surprised it's not on like one of the streaming services. I think it's out of in the public domain by now.
Yeah, it'll probably be on YouTube.
Yeah, it's always on YouTube or Daily Motion. Good old Daily Motion. Pirate YouTube.
Basically.
Yeah, Planet Terror. Rose McGowan's Cherry Darling only has one leg. Gets replaced with the gun.
That's not really a disability though, is it? That's just fetish porn. That's what that is.
Yeah, I know. It's an enhancement, a gun on the leg.
We all know what they were doing with that film.
It's a joke film. Okay.
It is. It was part of the period of the when they did all those grindhouse sort of styles, wasn't it? It was basically a trailer that they made into a film.
Yeah, I think there's only 2 left. I haven't had a film made out of them complete now.
Oh, really?
Because recently there was a Thanksgiving, Eli Roth, because that was one of them. And I think there is Rob Zombie's SS Women of the something or other. SS Werewolf Women. I can't remember the name of that one, but he had like Nicolas Cage's Fu Manchu in it. So that's going to be happening at some point. And Edgar Wright's Don't. The only 2 that haven't been made into a film yet.
Well remembered. I've forgotten about that entirely, actually.
Yeah, randomly Katie Malua in it.
There's a name no one remembers.
Apart from Edgar Wright, apparently.
Yeah, well, she was big for a minute, wasn't she?
Yeah. And finally, The Eye, kinda. She's cured of her blindness early on. Remember that one? That's the Hong Kong horror film where she's blind, gets her eyes replaced, and still has the scariest moment in film for me, where in the lift. Still freaks me out.
The Eye is awesome. But yeah, I didn't really consider her that she's disabled. But yeah, of course, the whole premise is she's got someone else's eyes. Spoiler alert. Sorry, that movie's been out 20 years, so go fuck yourself.
Pretty longer. That's 90s. I can know.
Well, yeah, late 90s, early 2000s. Great film.
Yeah, and just a quick look through some stuff online and added one to my long list, which is now my very long list. 1975 film called Deafula, with the tagline, "No one can hear you scream."
Oh dear.
There's not much else to say about it apart from a student gets turned into a vampire and hunts down his friends. But it was the first horror film shot using American Sign Language.
Ah, okay. Which for for practitioners of sign language in this country, you will not be able to understand because American Sign Language is completely fucking different.
Yeah. Which allows me to
Because
do this.
fucking Americans.
Yeah, I practiced this constantly for the last couple of hours. I've been doing this. I'm going to do
Right.
and that's sign language for shall we move on and do the film.
Ah, okay. Yes, it's very good actually. Yeah, I didn't recognise it because it's the American sign language, and I'm only familiar with the British one.
Yeah. So the film, The Deserving, directed by S.S. Arora. I'm going to get all the names wrong on this. Sorry. It's a tradition now. It's what I do. It's so much. He's making his feature debut. It stars Venkat Sai Gunda, Simone Stadler, and Kelsey Stalter. The film has already amassed a number of accolades, having won over 15 awards, including Best Feature at Athens IFF, Best Horror at Hallucinea FF, and awards at Humro Cinema, Portugal Indie Film Festival, and Rome Indie Film Fest.
Yeah, I mean, they're not the big ones, though, are they?
I mean, they're film festivals, and people like it.
Not Sundance.
How dare you doubt Athens IFF?
Exactly. I'm 42 summers in, and I've never heard of Athens IFF.
So, exploring themes of guilt, redemption, and the cynical nature of abuse, The Deserving follows a tormented, mute serial killer who is haunted by the ghosts of his victims and plans to end his life. His resolve is disrupted when a desperate walk-in client arrives, needing an urgent photo shoot. And that's pretty much it. There you go.
Yeah. That was that your description, or was that their blurb?
That's actually the press I got. Producer
Wow.
Venkat...
That's the whole film. Basically, I was worried about spoiler alert.
Oh, I mean, that's like the intro to the film, pretty much. Is what happens in the first 15 minutes. I mean, you get that he's a serial killer, and he's a photographer, and he's mute.
So you kind of do. I felt that they could have been going in with the "it's all in his head" direction for a while. They keep it open there.
So yeah, it starts off with a client coming in. You establish he's mute or just really bad at acting. One of the two.
Or both.
I mean, if you didn't know he was mute, you'd be like, why is he not? Because he looks like he talks as he opens the door. And he looks really awkward. But yeah, he's mute, and mute protagonist from the outset is kind of, as a bad guy, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good concept.
Yeah, odd choice for a job, because photographers kind of need a voice to tell people what to do. Because if you get hands in that profession, it's a bit of a no-no. I know a few models. Now. I mean, I know a few models, and I'm sure if you start pouring at them, you're going to end up in a molesting charge.
Yeah.
Just.
But that they sort of tackle that as well a little
bit. Spread them. I don't know. Is that American Sign Language?
Yeah, that's American Sign Language for goatsy, I think.
As opposed to the British one.
If you know, you know. If you know you're at least our age and had the internet in the very early 2000s.
But yeah, he kills the first client. And it's an interesting concept to start the film off with. You know, let's see how this plays out. Yep. You get the idea what's happening, but then he gets he goes to kill himself, gets dressed up all nice, and put his Velcro trainers on. Which is that a fashion thing?
Yeah.
I think it's counterproductive though. He's going to get dressed up to kill himself after having a wank in the shower. You know,
I picked up on that as well.
Yeah, two birds with one stone. You know, just have a little game of wanky door so if you win big.
Well, it seems like a missed opportunity. So you're only going to get the one crack at it, aren't you? Might as well.
Might change your life, you know, having a proper danger wank.
Yeah, and also, like, I assume he got dressed up, so when whomever finds him, but it's unclear who's going to be fair, because he doesn't really interact with anyone. I should point out he seems to be a shut-in as well.
Yeah, which is another weird thing for being a well-celebrated photographer. So you don't leave your house, and you don't
talk.
You don't really interact with anybody, but you're world famous, and you're very successful because you have a big house.
Which seems to be the house he grew up in as well. So I guess he got left that house.
And left the money.
And they sort of explain why he's a shut-in as well, kind of.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know how he got the job. These are all very superficial things in terms of the film.
There's some plot holes. There's definitely some plot holes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there'll be a prequel explaining all this because I don't think they can.
No, it's not really a movie that is going to explain a lot. I don't think it's really about the story, Dean.
Am I being picky?
I think so. I think it's more about the spooky that happens or the scary that happens and the ending. I think that's what it's about.
Okay.
Yes, there are some glaring plot holes.
Welcome to Cinema Sins. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on, like the press explains. Some redemption, which I'm on board with. Some guilt, Yeah, that's all fine. Lots of quiet bang events and some jump scares involving ghosts with varying degrees of makeup quality.
Yeah, there was some good and there was some not good.
Yeah, it's keep saying it's like some films need to be low quality and dark because again, this is all shot during the daytime in a very clean house,
well lit room,
well lit rooms, very clean, very flat. Some shots are pretty good, but a lot of it is just flat. And I think 24 minutes into the film, I'm making a note for what the overall idea is. And are we going to do 2 minute spoilers at the end of this? I don't know. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's about the journey. I'm guessing
quite predictable. My wife and I watched this together, and we both pretty much predicted the plot and ending of the film within about the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, they throw some stuff in there which is makes it a little bit different. I think the dream logic comes in a little bit. I think this isn't spoiling too much, but he sort of goes back, relives stuff, and characters come back, and characters don't exist, and time doesn't move, and he keeps getting given a cookie, which significance.
Yeah, that was kind of lost. The cookie was kind of lost, if I'm honest. For me, anyway.
You have a reoccurring cookie, just eat it, get it back again.
Yeah, they don't really. I expected that to be significant, and unless I missed something completely, it just isn't.
And then there's some interesting choices made by the protagonist in this, trying to get someone's attention through a window by banging on it, but having the blinds still drawn and the net curtains up.
Yes.
And you're waving behind them. Almost like you are filming in the house, don't want to annoy people outside in real life. It was a bit odd. And then being haunted by demons, going through the repeating pattern of events in your life. But the tap is a bit leaky, and that gets priority.
Yeah, and that isn't really clarified either.
Yeah, but again, dream logics, weird stuff happens, and you sort of go back to normal. Is this just a dream? Is it real? Am I really getting thrown around the house by an invisible entity of someone I killed?
Yeah.
And then was it one of the characters changes halfway through, which I don't know if that's a choice or whether the actor didn't turn up for the second lot of shooting.
Well, I checked the credits, and they do have 3 versions of that character credited.
Yeah.
So I think they're meant to be 3 forms of that character. I just don't really know why.
Yeah, and again, that's not explained. So I just thought the other one wasn't available.
That's very possible, because the middle version of that character, which again, I don't want to give anything away, but you'll be aware, sort of doesn't make sense when you've got the other 2 versions of them. It would make the third version is what makes it not make sense to me.
Yeah.
And I really can't say anything without actually giving it away.
I think we might have to do a 2-minute spoiler at the end
There
of
are
the
some
show.
great monologues in it, though.
Oh, from those characters,
ironic,
yeah.
Considering,
Yeah.
from the non-mute character.
Yeah, I've got all those bits. And that's the bit where it's 24 minutes in, you kind of get, all right, that's happening. And yeah, having the main characters mute, interesting move. But if you've got a mute lead character, the performance needs to be more physical. And not going back to the silent movie era, but, using a bit more facial expressions. And as the main guy is supposed to be depressed, he's obviously downplaying stuff for that reason. But then he has no emotion whatsoever during any scene, pretty much. And then
he's not great at acting, unless that's what he's going for. In which case, you're brilliant. But I don't think it is.
But then he does have a breakdown at one point, and you have the room smashing scene, which we've seen many films over the years with differing qualities. You got Nick Cage and Mandy going all out.
Yes.
Was it Martin Sheen in Apocalypse Now, where he sort of smashed a mirror and had stitches in his hand, and Tommy Wiseau, yes, quality in the room.
Yep.
This guy, it come off as comical when he run into the wall.
It did. It did. Yeah, it did. So overall, I do like it, but yeah, there are some bits performance-wise, and I'm gonna say, I'm sure there was nothing to do with it, but the main protagonist is also responsible for casting. He's the producer and executive producer, so it might have something to do with why he got cast as the main. He was sold it basically,
doing the almost the trifecta. Like you say, it's enjoyable to degrees. I don't know whether you're supposed to be laughing at bits, whether it's supposed to be taken seriously, because it gets quite heavy at some points. There are some bits where you're like, actually, wow, that's actually pretty good. And then it'll cut back to something else, and that's really dumb. So differing levels within minutes.
yeah.
And overall, yeah, good ideas. Probably elevate it above the standard streaming filler. But it does feel like there is a lot of filler in the film, which is amazing when the runtime is 76 minutes.
Yeah, it's already quite a short film.
Yeah, and I don't think you can cut it down anymore without it stop qualifying as an actual film. Because I think there's a limit, so you've got to be over a certain amount of time. Not helped by the fact the main character doesn't speak. I think that kind of makes it feel longer. But yeah, when it's like there's a lot of filler for a 76-minute film and needs trimming. It could have been a good short. Good example film, or part of an anthology, but I don't know how you fit this into an anthology. Maybe have the main character doing the monologues, different versions of that character appearing throughout the film, and having this as a short, and then putting, one of these other films in.
Yeah, you could have basically cut it down to all of the prolonged, shall we say, scare scenes. Could just be flashes, because you don't need lots of that, because as you know, when you can see the monster, it's not very scary, as they say.
Yeah, there was that one that was like crawling on the floor, and it's kind of held on it for a couple of seconds, and you're like, that looks terrible.
Yeah.
You can see the black thing on the chin was lifting up, the effect falling away. It didn't.
Yeah, sometimes the makeup's very good, sometimes the effects were good, and other times they were not. So I wonder if it was budget and time constraints as well.
But, it's fair enough. It's 76 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the worst film I've seen this weekend. And no, it's not Scanner Cop either.
Go on then. Give us your worst film you've seen this weekend.
I'm not going to shit on anyone's films. I'm not going to do it.
Was it the guy that made Hush? Was it you got a new one out?
No, everything Mike Flanagan does is great. It just is. I love his work. No, it was. I'll just say it was a folk horror movie.
Cool. Where can we not find you online these days?
I'm still just about floating about Twitter occasionally, or Blue Sky, both as Captain J Spalding or CPT J Spalding, and on your podcast mostly.
And grateful I am for you being on it.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me.
You can find me online at totalcultzone.com. My stuff is on there. I'm playing some music. Get down to that funky music. Can you hear it in the background? It'll fade out. We'll have 10 seconds of silence and go to a 2-minute spoiler zone.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, it's supposed to be silent. Morning, the 2-minute spoiler zone will be starting shortly. If you don't want this film to be spoiled, turn off now. Okay, so when he tried to kill himself, he actually did kill himself. And he's dead.
Yes.
And he's currently in some sort of purgatory, hell type situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've got a minute and
Basically.
45 left. Anything else?
Yeah, so the one that plays the Liz or whatever her name
Lucy.
is,
Lucy.
the main Lucy.
Which is a big
she
tip
was
off
very
Lucy.
good.
Yeah, they're very good. 2 of them were. The kid, meh.
Yes, so the kid was just odd, but she was very good. And let's be honest, Satan or Death or whatever it's supposed to be was also very good.
Mm.
You know they're them by the running theme of the red and white polka dot.
Yeah,
as well, which I'm sure you picked up on. And yeah, that they were very good. I felt like they should have had a film.
Yeah, like that's like the anthology. If they had like,
because they were actually interesting, and I wanted to know more. The protagonist was actually kind of, as soon as you figured it out pretty much straight away, and it was kind of dull.
yeah, and he's a serial killer. But then he does have the childhood trauma of like his dad beating his mum and killing his mum and forcing
Killing his
him,
mum in front of him.
yeah, forcing the kid to pit his mum and treat women like shit, kind of thing. Which again gives that whole photography thing a bit like, how do you get that job?
Yeah, and become a world-renowned photographer for actors. And also the other glaring thing, if he's killed a bunch of women, how has no one noticed they've all gone missing after visiting him?
Yeah, that's,
You know what I mean? That immediately was just like, yeah, it's
Do
kind
you
of
know
lazy because it can only be you because they all go to your house and they all disappeared.
do you know what that is?
Yes, that is.
Gaping.